Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yes,
It's an
sir.
of the Royal Code, a king to a prince, chapter 12. Still
We back.
keeping it moving.
How you
Yeah,
feeling, Pop?
I'm feeling good, man. What about yourself?
I'm hurting right now. I don't know if I told you, but my chip game was over the past week.
Oh,
I'm
okay. I
talking
thought you
like,
were sore. I thought you were sore from like working out, but okay.
oh no, honestly, I'm coming off that second week of the calisthenics workouts I've been telling you about, and I feel good. Like I feel like I have a lot more energy throughout the day. Like I'm walking past the mirror, like I said, still feeling that pump. Like, I bet I'm gonna go work out again today. So like, I'm good. I actually haven't been feeling sore, so that's why like on this, I'm going. This is my third week right now, starting this week. So on that fourth week, I'm gonna really try to push everything to a fit. Obviously, still do my 100, but try to go past that. See like
Yeah,
what number I can get to
for
reach that
failure.
failure for all of
Yeah.
my workouts. So that's real. I'm kind of sore, like mentally sore for next week going into it, but I'm straight.
So
But
what
yeah,
happened
like
with your game?
it's terrible. I choked. I choked. The lights was too bright for me. I came off. I remember I told you I had 30 in the semifinal game, so the chip game.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good, feeling nice. I'm about to get this W. They end up getting out by 24 point lead. We bring it all the way back down to 1. We
Oh,
fouled them, send them to the free throw line. They miss one. We get the rebound. My man's drives, passes it to me in the wing. I drop the ball. I'm like, oh my
oh,
God. And it looked as bad as it sounds, it looks even worse. Like straight up butterfingers. Like it looked bad. Like,
yeah. Oh
man.
man.
But I saved it. I got back, it was like I think like 25 seconds left or something like that. So they ain't have no shot clock. I ended up getting the steal, getting the tip, calling the timeout. We get the ball back. One of the last plays of the game. We I can't remember who on my team shot it, but I think it was like a midi trying to get the quick 2. They missed. We
Yeah.
got the rebound, passed it back out to me in the same spot. I'm like, yeah, I'm catching it this time. I'm shooting it. I'm not even gonna try to dribble with no thoughts. I'm straight up pulling. Soon as I get the ball, I shoot it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Cavs. Like I hear somebody in the crowd, like, oh yeah, that's Green. Goes in and out. I'm like, oh
Oh
man. We
man.
ended up losing by 4 because we had to foul them for the free throws. But that was a tough
Yeah.
loss. But like I said, yo, y'all, if y'all stay in tune, my in real life, my career series is going up very, very soon. Y'all got to see all of the drama from that semifinal game to the chip game and even moving into the next league. So I'm really
Oh
excited about it. Like, although I'm hurt that we lost, but I'm excited about it. It's some really good content.
yeah. It comes with the territory. You know what I mean? Wins and losses. It's just
That's why I
always
feel like,
bad to be. It's always bad to be on the losing side, but you know that's the level of comes with competition, though, man. So
yeah,
and then
I gotta
when the
appreciate my realness too. Like, I can't just always show the good. You got to show the bad.
exactly. And when does the next league start up?
It had already started, but it's I'm going into week 2 on tomorrow actually. Yeah, so it's Tuesday nights.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot more stuff. So yeah,
Do y'all
that's how it's
practice
looking right
also?
now. I'm just trying to get like earn my ranking up there. Like it's really like a rank type of thing. So I'm really trying to just like earn my stripes in this YouTube basketball space right now.
Now, do y'all have practice also?
They be trying to get a little bit of practice in like before the games, but that's really about it. Probably like before game day if anybody got time, because it's a bunch of conflicting schedules and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got you. Because nobody got time for practice. You talking about practice? Practice? You know what I mean? Nobody got time to do all that.
Right? Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's
Right.
cool, man. So, I don't know if you saw in the on ESPN, but Deion Sanders' son Shiloh just got dropped from the team. Just got dropped from the Buccaneers.
Drop. He's
Yeah,
playing bad.
they were doing roster cuts anyway because the deadline is
Uh,
Tuesday. So, I understand they doing they have to do the deadline roster cuts anyway. So I don't know if
true,
they were
true.
looking at him anyway, but by him getting into a fight with the Buffalo Bills tight end, I think that's what it was. It was a
I
tight
seen
end.
that.
It was some pushing and shoving, which comes with the nature of the game, but he ended up, I guess,
Uh,
swinging on him and he ended up hitting him, on his head in his helmet. So,
And
As far as I know, they took him out. They ejected him from the game. And then when I saw, as I was reading more, they ended up cutting him from the team. So, and I
that's
know that
sad, man.
that helped them make that decision even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's sad when that happens, but it's such a it's a dominant nature, and when you're playing sports, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. It's just you want to be the most dominant player out there. You want to stand on for your team. You want to stand up for yourself. All of that is important, but it's also the other side that comes along with it too. When this type of friction and trauma does happen, then they always got to point the finger at somebody. Somebody always has to be, the scapegoat, whatever, so it was just in this moment, that's what happened to him. So hopefully he will get picked up. He seems like, from what I saw, he was doing his thing. He seemed like he was good. But we'll see how this plays.
He probably could have known that it was coming regardless. Like, probably felt like, they was gonna cut me regardless. Like, I'm just show the rest of the league. That's why I feel like it's a little difficult for me to get, where like the organization could have been coming from, because you would think in football you kind of want to see a little bit more of that dog. Like, you're not gonna let anybody kind of like step on your shoes, step on your your dreams. You trying to get out there and go. So for the fact that
it used to be
get into a little scuffle. Yeah, like you get into a little scuffle and that factor, like I could get it if it was like basketball, because then it's like you got to be a little bit more in control of your emotions. But it's like it's on the football field, like it's not like it's his teammates that he's getting into it with, so it's that's baffling to me. Hopefully he does get picked up by a better team, better organization that, deserves his caliber of talent.
That's what I was.
How they doing these Sanders kids though, man. It's so crazy because Shador's been playing so well, in my opinion. Like for him to not just like to still be fighting for that starting spot, or even like that depth chart spot that he's fighting for. It's almost like disrespectful in a sense, because it's like, how well does somebody have to play? What more do they have to prove? Because the other quarterbacks ain't got to prove what Shador has to prove. So I'm not understanding why he's not reaping the benefits of playing well. That's sad to see.
And then I was reading something that they were saying that, the coach was getting accused of like kind of sabotaging him, in the sense where they were trying to, let other quarterbacks kind of step up and kind of give him plays or put him in positions to where it's kind of making him fail, or try to see him fail. And to me, that's, if it's like that, then it's like, okay, why are they targeting the Sanders kids? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and you're looking at people that are talented. You're not looking at people that's out there that's not wasting their time. From the beginning, you've seen Shador. He wants to play. He's hungry. He's willing to put in the work. When they went to practice camp, everybody had nothing but positive things to say about him. His work ethic is tremendous. So when you look at it, it comes down to, I hate to say this, but you get the conspiracy theorists that's always saying that, it's a scam, or, something is set up.
Very true.
But when you see things like this happen to players, you get kind of skeptical about it. Is it true or not? But we'll see. Again, we'll see how this plays out. Hopefully he doesn't. I don't think he's going to get cut. I think he'll still be on the team. Despite what they're saying as far as his play being kind of up and down. So, we'll see how this happens, man. I wish them both the best. I want to see both of them play, and I don't think, to me, Deion Sanders was such a legendary football icon, still is to this day. To me, it's like when you get players that are like that and then their kids are coming in, I'm not saying to just give their kids everything, roll out the red carpet. No, but let them prove themselves. And if they are proving themselves, don't take out your frustration from, their parent, so.
What is it? Do you think that's more of like a NFL thing, or is it, just like a case by case where they don't really like, really have their players back or their legends back, or because it kind of seems like once a player's done with the NFL, then the NFL is kind of done with them. Like they won't
Yeah,
really like look out for them in terms of other opportunities. And which I can say, at least for the NBA, like you see the NBA really going after like trying to get former players health insurance, like trying to make
yeah,
sure like certain players are taken care of, and even the legends, like you can't speak bad about certain legends like Jerry West or what's his name? In fact, I'm forgetting his name right now, but Bill Cousy and
uh-huh,
Bill Russell. You got Will
yeah,
Chamberlain, all these other legends that were in the 50s, 60s, 70s, but they still talked about today and regarded as some of the greatest and like those legends in NBA and basketball. So it's different in the NFL in my perspective. I haven't really seen too many, you know, cases where even like got players like Brett Favre, like the NFL will completely denounce a player that gets caught up in anything.
yeah, yeah. I think it's more the NFL, not necessarily case by case, because look how you just mentioned so many. You know what I mean? And I think when it comes to that, I think they're looking at, well, what are you doing for us? How are we still benefiting from you? You know, and at that point, it's like, why should we continue to, roll the red carpet out for those that are coming behind you? You know what I mean? And it does
Yeah.
put a lot of pressure on them. I think what they were worried about, because remember, it was one point that Dion was talking about becoming a head coach, and when
I do remember that.
you look at a coach like Dion is not the type that he just follows the rules. He's not one of those coaches that he's going to abide by the laws of, the NFL. And
Yeah.
when you're in those type of situations and positions, and you're also dealing with sponsors, or, you're dealing with a lot of other people that are also putting their money involved in these type of situations. When you have somebody that you really can't control like that, then, well, it's really, we really don't want to have to deal with that. We saw so much with the Ball brothers just because
Yeah.
LeVar is so outspoken. But again, any father that's doing what he is doing or what Dion has done, like taking the time to not only mold their kids, they're molding other kids, but they're doing it in the way where they're just not following your rules, and when you're outspoken, and then again, when you're African American male that's outspoken, that's in that type of position of power, a lot of people don't want that, so, and I think that's what ends up happening. I think what ends up being the issue is the kids get caught into parent drama, and depending on the severity of how those relationships were back then, it can, sometimes cause an issue. And I think that's what we're starting to see, so hopefully, again, these boys will get their opportunity to play, and it's based off only their play. It's
Their
not based
talent.
off anything else. You know what I mean? Like, because again, like I said, Shedeur, from college to now, all I've seen is that he just wants to play. You know what I mean? And he just wants to be an
Yeah.
effective player, and he has been. So you got to kind of let him do that. So, well, yeah. Well, again, man, it's one of those things that time will tell everything, and
Mhm.
it's one of those things that you wish for the best for everybody. So, and speaking of that, I saw you had sent me the clip. I didn't see it, but Rajah Jackson, Rampage Jackson's son, the fighter, the
Yeah.
UFC fighter.
That's one of the saddest things I've seen in a minute, because like I've always known who Rampage was, but I wasn't really too familiar with his career. But I started learning a little bit more about him and his son, like through his streams, just like seeing different clips, and I'm like, dang, like that it reminded me a lot of like me and you, like how we joke around, how we like like how
Yeah,
we kind of like each other's best friends, like brothers. So
yeah,
it was real cool to see that. I was just like, dang, like that's really dope. But and it's, of course, it's like the moment that they are separated, this is when something like this happens.
Something like that happens. Yeah.
How it
Yeah.
started was it was supposed to be like promotion for this wrestling event.
Okay.
It was supposed to be like promotion for this wrestling event, and I'm not really sure where like where the miscommunication happened, because like when the guy like hit Raja with the can, Raja immediately like showed like, yeah, dude, like that wasn't cool. Like I don't play like that. Like I don't do that.
Exactly.
And then another guy stepped in to apologize for that guy and was like, I heard it in the video and other people confirmed that he said like just get him back in the ring. So it's like I'm pretty sure going off from that, Raja was like, all right, so you feel me? However mad or upset I was feeling about that, I'll just get it back in the ring. Like how I'm pretty sure most fighters or anybody within that profession typically handles things that maybe they feel like could have been handled outside of the ring. And they're told to just let it be in the ring, then they'll just leave it in the ring. That's how most professionals usually handle it. So seeing him like actually like, all right, but I'm gonna take a step back and just handle it in the ring, I was like, okay. And once I seen the first two punches, I'm like, all right, okay, this probably is like some wrestling. Like this whole thing was probably promotion. But then it's like, when you watching somebody get hit and you like, they not awake, they not conscious, they not controlling their head when they getting hit. Like they're not bracing themselves. These kind of just like loose neck, like just getting wailed on. I'm like, dang, like that's looking pretty scary. Like I hope for Raja's sake that this dude actually gets up, because Raja's a big dude, like swole workout, and he's a fighter. So like to really be throwing those like not even holding back type of punches, like you really just letting loose going on and on. So it's like that was crazy to see. But I was saying like, thank God that this dude ended up surviving that, because that could have been bad.
And what I was reading and what I heard was apparently that it was all, like you said, it was promotion. It was supposed to be kind of, they were kind of hyping up everything. And I guess the part where he got hit with the can wasn't like nobody knew that was going to happen. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't, they did script this out in some senses, that guy hitting him with the can was kind of off script. So at that moment, I guess what ended up happening with Raja, he ends up snapping, and something when I was reading Rampage, because Rampage was basically saying he doesn't condone it. He's disappointed by the entire thing because, again, somebody got injured. He said he hopes the wrestler is okay. I'm sure some legal actions are going to be taken. I'm hoping it's more civil than criminal, because I don't want to see nothing happen to Raja. But they were saying that he was just dealing, I guess, a few days before he was dealing with a concussion. So, what Rampage is basically saying, that he shouldn't have never been in that area or at that event, at all. So by him going there, and like you said, it seems like every time I see them, it's always those two together. Unless, one of them will fighting, but to see them not in this situation and then something like that happens, it also makes me think, because I was watching Raja at the end and he was snapping, basically saying, people ain't going to keep disrespecting me and treating me a certain way. So it also goes, how much has the disrespect has he been dealing with, and how much has this been building up for him to snap? And I understand, you get hit, something that's off script, and it's like, okay, now you trying to embarrass me, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get you back. I understand that, especially in that type of nature and when we fighting. But when it gets to a point to where if it's like this is all building up and he just snapped and took it out on that fighter, you got to look at the bigger picture, and I hope everything is okay with him, because it's going to be a lot of finger pointing over this, and it's going to be a lot of accusations, and again, like I said, we don't know what that wrestler's next course of action is going to be soon as he gets up out of the hospital, because from what I did hear, he did survive. He is alert, but
the public opinion definitely gonna have its opinion.
Oh, different.
Yeah. So
Yeah, different. You know,
I just for the sake of Roger's like future career, I hope this is something like he learns from and it's like, all right, this is what like type of consequences or type of things that could happen if I am not able to maybe control my emotions or not make the take the best out of each situation because he could have been right there like after the can thing. You like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fight with y'all guys. Like I'm out of here. Like y'all
yeah.
still can pay me, give me the bed, but like y'all want to do things off script. So now like I'm out of here and just
And
like take his bread and go home, and all this situation is avoided.
and that's important. Like you say that because you got to look at it like even us, even from myself to yourself, in the realm of what we're doing, we have to look at ourselves as brands. You know what I mean? And you have to, like they say, you have to protect your brand. You know, Rampage can only protect his son just so much because his son is a grown man. You know what I mean? So there are going to have those moments where you're not going to be around your father. He could be off doing his own thing, enjoying his life. And now you are starting in your career. The good thing about it is Rampage seems like how I would be with you, a hands-on father, no matter what, but again, they do have those moments where you're not going to be around your kids 24/7. So you're going to expect their actions to reflect off of what you showed them and taught them. But it's messed up because what ends up happening is a lot of these younger guys, man, are just people just coming into money. If you don't know how to handle yourself or if you don't have the right people around you, everybody's going to come after you. I remember it was a saying, everybody was like, oh, if they had a chance to meet Mike Tyson, they would want to try to provoke him. I'm like, yo, you sound stupid because regardless, whatever you think you're going to do or, get off of him from suing him, you're going to have to reconstruct your face back together with that money. You know what I mean? And it was getting to a point where people were doing that when they would see Tyson, they would try to provoke him. But, only stupid people would do that, but I think what ends up happening is a lot of people end up getting money, man. And some feel like they're a little bit more, they can get away with a little bit more, and what ends up happening is you realize that you can't. It's always something out there that's going to try to bring you down or break you. And I think for Raja, though, I think this was just that moment where he'll learn from this and, he'll be able to bounce back. I think the very first thing is to take care of if it is something going on with him having a concussion. I'm not saying like mental issues. I'm just basically saying like if he did have a concussion, like take care of that first. Take care of your health first, even regardless of whether if you were getting paid or not. I mean, you could have got in there and got slammed by one of those wrestlers and fell even more on your head. You know what I mean? So, and it could have been the opposite way around. We could be talking about him in the hospital, from a wrestler doing something like that to him. So, I think that's the first foremost. But I also, it's important because even you notice, and I tell you this, always keep real people around you. You don't have to have a big circle. You just have to have the right people in your circle. You know what I mean? So it's important to have people around you that are not necessarily just positive, but they're making sure your career is going to end up on a positive impact. It's not about what they're getting from you. It's what about how they can help you, how they can make you better. That's what a real friend or business partner is going to do, because regardless, if I'm around somebody and that's the person that's getting the money, if that's the person that's the talent or the star, I'm not here to outshine him. You know what I mean? I'm in this position because of that person. What I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out my own lane. I'm not saying that I got to stick behind and just do everything this person is doing or want. But at the same time, I'm not going to try to overstep my boundaries with a person that's like that. And I'm not saying that's what this case is, but you get a lot of cases where you get people that's trying to amp up the celebrity or the talent to, yo, do this, and it's all about that person's enjoyment. They're not looking at the bigger picture for that, you know what I mean, that talent. So yeah, just keep the right people around you, man. And when you do that, you're gonna make the right decisions, because like you said, if a right person was around him, he would have been like, yo, man, listen, like they taking this off script. Are they paying you more money to do this, or are they just trying to embarrass you? Are they trying to get their name up because of you, because of who your father is? It's like, so when you start getting in situations like that, you got to be smarter and say like, okay, well, what am I getting out of this? And what's the extra, you know, in case something does go off script, well, what do I get out of that? Because who was to say that bottle couldn't have hurt him or cut him? You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, you know, so they don't look at like that, you know, so. Yeah.
People just getting too comfortable with the internet, with recording people, with, you know, all of the like pranks and challenges people want to do with people. I just think everybody got a little bit too comfortable with that, because, you know, you never know, like you said, like he was going through like something, dealing with a concussion. You never know what anybody else is going through in their personal life for you to just be, you know, trying to have some fun or get a joke off at the expense of another person's either health, mental health, or their physical health. That's just always been something that's been like corny or lame to me, because it's like you, and even down to people like leaving comments or like hateful comments in people's videos when it has nothing to do with, you know, anything pertaining to what they're doing. Because, you know, people just always want to spread negativity and have their 2 cents feel like it's more important than anyone else's. So I just think that's what all that's coming down to. I heard a lot of it that maybe kind of influenced him in a sense, was like the chat saying that, like his streamer chat, like, you know, calling him a punk, that he was like being soft for not getting guy back. So, you know, and it's like, even those people, it's like, yo, you probably 15, 16, if that, if even worse, you probably like some 30-year-old man in your basement or your computer, ain't never really been in a fight in your life, calling somebody soft because, you know, and at that point, Roger's probably making that business decision to be like, you know what, I ain't really trying to ruin my career over this dude being a asshole. Like, so you probably really like got a lot of people that really ain't never been in those situations or confrontation where they even,
and they talk shit. And they talk shit. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's
the age of the internet.
And you look at it, man, the internet and social media has made the insecure feel secure, because again, you're behind a computer, you're behind, you know, your words, you know, it's easier to, you know, throw rocks and hide your hands when you don't know what state is coming from, you know, or who is coming from, again, because you don't know, again, the age range. So it makes it a lot easier for the wrong, you know, I always would say, you know, I always try to be a voice for the voiceless, but you have a lot of voices that shouldn't even be saying shit in the first place. But again, you can't stop them. The internet just gives them that platform, you know. And then when you have, you know, there's a million negative comments out there. So obviously that's telling you that's a million negative people out there. So, you know, it's that trickle down effect. If one person is sitting there hating on them, then there's another person agreeing with them, and then they're adding their 2 cents in, and it's fuel. And then, you know, when you're reading this, I'm sure it does it to everybody. I'm sure, you know, because I've read comments on things that I've did, and I'm like, damn. But at the same time, I looked at it like, okay, well, I needed to see that, you know, for my own self, because I needed to see, okay, yeah, I'm doing good. This is great. I don't like this. I need to see that, because that's also how you develop tough skin too, you know, going into a field where you are basically judged by the public, because everything you're doing from our podcast to what you're doing from your Akumi Live to what you're doing to your My Career, everything you're doing it in a sense for ourselves, of course, first and foremost, but we're doing it for the general public. So the general public's opinion in some senses does matter, and, you know, it does count, because again, that's what we're doing it for. We're not just doing this just to do it. We're doing it to have an impact in the long run. And of course, we want people to pay attention. Of course, we want people to subscribe and view, so that is important. It's just when you deal with the negative, you have to also learn to embrace that also and just get over it, because not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to be team you. Not everybody's going to want to see you win. It's going to be people that you grew up with, that you're close with, family. They're going to have some animosity towards you too. That's just a part of life. It's just how you deal with it. We can't deal with what's said and what's being done. We can only deal with how we react to it, so.
Your best action is your reaction.
Exactly. So, again, I wish the brother well. I'm happy the wrestler is doing well. And again, we'll see how this plays out. So, but yeah, man, this has definitely been another solid episode of the Royal Code.
Best one.
Keep it to a Prince.
Check it out.
Yes, and everything will be down in the credits. Again, just keep subscribing.
That button.
Hitting that button and just showing us support, because we definitely coming. You know what I mean? We definitely appreciate
Let us know what y'all want us to continue to talk about. Any other topics, broad, specific, just keep it coming in the comments below.
Definitely. Y'all be good. Peace.